Okay, perfect. So, uh, guys, anybody still alive? Cool. So, I'm really happy to see all you here. I'm really happy to be here in Belgrade. And today we are going to talk a little bit about probably one of the hottest topic nowadays in our industry. And of course, it's going to be a discussion about the DePIN. So, but let me start with a short introduction regarding myself. So, I'm co-founder of a group of companies. We have three main businesses. The core is our investment fund. The name is Cryptomeria Capital. We invest in different blockchain crypto projects all over the world, mostly in pre-seed and seed. So if you're a builder, if you're a founder, you need investments, please feel free to reach me, to find me. I'll be really happy to talk with you. Also, we have our media group. We have a media and post. It's global media. It has over 3 million per month, mostly from Eastern Europe. We cover some news updates about Web3, AI, metaverse, etc. And last but not least, I call it cherry on the top. It's about our gaming project, which name is Satoshi Universe. So Satoshi Universe is the biggest entertainment project in linear ecosystem. So in our investment fund, we have a very experienced R&D department, and we do issue a lot of reports, a lot of publications about different topics. Mostly we do it in a way of public good. And recently, just 2 months ago, we have issued the biggest report about the DePIN, about our industry, and in our industry. So it covers actually a lot of topics. It has a lot of alpha. Of course, it's completely impossible to dive deep into, so big publication over just 20 minutes. So today what we're going to do, we are going to briefly fly through it. As soon as you want some, hardcore tech, please feel free to find the digital version of this report and check it out. So, what we see here? We see a lot of colorful blocks, a lot of icons. So what does it mean? Actually, it means the DePIN ecosystem is growing. The DePIN ecosystem is growing really fast. We find a lot of newcomers, a lot of new projects, literally every day. But let me just start with a kind of short introduction. I do understand ETH Belgrade is mostly about tech audience, but anyway, I do believe some of you don't know much about what is the DePIN. So how we identify the DePIN? So for us, in the current global tech landscape, we see a lot of big companies, a lot of tech giants, and a lot of them, they are actually trying to monopolize the whole industry. And at the same time, the DePIN, which is going to leverage principles of decentralization, can solve this kind of issue and provide more fair, more transparent solutions for the end user. Right now, we are in a kind of momentum. We are in this momentum because of two key points. The first one is, of course, it's kind of around hype. A lot of people are hyped around AI, ML, and so on. On one hand. On the other hand, we see we are entering the age of, general maturity of the technology. So in this kind of age, technology maturity and hype around AI and ML, we see the global rise of the DePIN. And of course, as soon as we see this match, we see a huge impact on the concentrated market cap of this kind of project. So the DePIN has several sectors, and what we are going right now, we are going to just go one by one and talk a little more about each of that. And we are going to start with storage. So probably the centralized storage is one of the most well-known DePIN case. It has a lot of well-known names. And the thing is, right now we can state we are in the age of cloud transformation. As you see on this slide, over 60% of all corporate data are stored in the cloud. But the interesting fact is just half of sensitive data is encrypted properly. And as well, we see a significant lack of understanding the principles of decentralized storage and what kind of value it can bring for organizations. A lot of corporations, actually, even tech giants, they have cloud or hybrid cloud strategies. And in this way, we expect decentralized projects, decentralized storage can bring a lot of value. And in this age of cloud transformation, we are at the fund, we are as our R&D center, we are pretty confident these projects will be in the forefront of this cloud transformation. Another one is computing. Of course, this is one of the probably most well-known sector nowadays. Probably even hyped sector. I do promise it's not the most hyped slide. The most hyped slide will be soon. But anyway, you see a lot of well-known projects, and these projects, they literally drive this aggregated market cap of the whole DePIN sector. A lot of these projects, what they are going to do, each of them right now is going to focus on specific use case, and each of them are going to solve specific use case. And of course, as soon as we have a global rise of the interest of AI, we see it has a positive effect on on-chain revenue, which can be observed in these protocols. And of course, as soon as we see it, it drives this adoption in a pretty obvious way. By the way, the kind of interesting or even fun fact is, as soon as you need to run some GPUs, right now for you, it's much cheaper to run the GPUs on the centralized platform than the centralized platforms. Of course, right now, as soon as we talk about cloud computing, we talk about the centralized computing, we see a lot of challenges. On the one hand, it's about the general education regarding advantages of these kind of solutions. On the other hand, it's about kind of security challenges and so on, so on, so on, so on. But we see these projects are going to invest to solve these challenges. And for now, the trend is obvious, and we can state it's even unstoppable. Another thing is wireless. So we are right now, let's say, in the age of 5G transformation. As soon as we are in the age of 5G transformation, even in 2023, we observed kind of cooling off of this growth, of this adoption. The general global trend is growing. And as soon as you are creating any project, any solution, any product in a growing industry itself, you will observe more and more support your product will find. For now, we see, and we can state it's not probably really good case. A lot of projects, especially in the wireless sector, they use the power of the Web3 in a way to motivate users, to engage users, to boost user retention. From our vision, in next 3 or 5 years, we'll see more and more Web3 implementation of the power of Web3 on the infrastructure side. And it's quite important if we want to have to see this sector in a growing trend. You see actually a lot of cases in this slide, and right now, again, we do believe we'll see more and more merge regarding this sector and Web3 on infrastructure side, not only on the side of user engagement and user retention. Sensors is quite in the same situation. So we see that the current value of this market is around $4 billion US, and definitely it's growing. And the quite interesting fact is, since 2020, we see that IoT devices are outnumbering non-IoT devices. And of course, the centralized sensor products will play and already are playing a significant role in this kind of trend. We already see a lot of cases. For now, we can state they're just kind of, early birds. I do believe actually a lot of you even are not familiar with some devices you see in this slide, and they're just, let's say, the first wave of this kind of products. And here we are, one of the most hyped slides, finally. So actually, very honest, a lot of words have been already said about AI from different well-known people in our industry. So I definitely don't want to spend a lot of time there, but we definitely see that the general interest for AI is going to boost some corresponding sectors. So it boosts the aggregate market cap, and aggregated growing of aggregate market cap is boosting interest for this kind of sector in retail users. So we do expect a huge interest there as well. And the last but not least, I just checked the agenda and I realized you have a lot of panels, a lot of discussions regarding zero knowledge. And yeah, this is really awesome. Me personally, I do believe zero knowledge is going to transform not only our industry, but the whole tech industry in different ways. In next 5, 7, 10 years, we'll see more and more interesting cases. The thing is, very unfortunately, as soon as we talk about the DePIN, just a few of people, they mention zero knowledge. But actually, there are a lot of use cases regarding both sectors. So, for example, decentralized storages are playing literally a crucial role as a backup infrastructure. Another use case is a lot of the DePIN solutions can be used as external data availability for different blockchains. And we see a lot of different cases around that. So for now, we cannot find and we cannot identify, let's say, the leader in this direction, but I do believe we'll see more and more well-known cases really soon. And yeah, this is the last slide. Of course, in a limited time, it's completely impossible to dive really deep. Otherwise, what we need to do, we need to choose a specific sector and dive in deep to understand projects, use cases, investments, pros and cons. As soon as any of you has specific questions, I'll be really happy to have a discussion with you. Feel free to find me after this keynote speech, or just check our report. And the last but not least, in 1 month, we are going to host our event in Brussels in Belgium. We'll have some really nice DePIN discussion there, some DePIN workshops. So if you want some hardcore tech, please join. Thank you very much.
Just hold on a sec, Alex, if anybody has any questions. Any questions for Alex? Just wait a second for the mic.
Hey, I'm Ryan from World Mobile Token. So you obviously, as a capital manager doing doing this talk, you've done the research and due diligence. Tell me, how do you feel about these projects incentivizing the rollout of infrastructure with a speculative asset and not worrying about user acquisition and revenue first.
From what kind of perspective? From an investor perspective, from user perspective, from, let's say, a community? From what
Just
kind of angle?
As to help grow the ecosystem, the DePIN ecosystem as a whole. So we can see like Helium did a really good job at understanding that the community want decentralized infrastructure, but it's kind of an interesting space that we're living in where people, yes, they want the decentralized infrastructure, but they also want the speculation on the token side of things. They don't actually care about the business model.
Well, so actually, I think I just mentioned it during the presentation, but let me just dive deep. Actually, it's probably one of the most important things we need to discuss, because in a, let's say, Web3 industry, we have two types of people. We have the type of people who really care a lot about, fundamentals. They care a lot about user needs. They care a lot about product design, and we have another type of people, and they care mostly about, let's say, economical aspect, regarding the token, regarding the hype, the attention, and very unfortunately, in a lot of cases, there is an obvious mismatch, and of course, even as soon as we see the general growth of the crypto market capitalization, we see more and more projects, more and more newcomers. What they do, they just grab some, hot hashtags, bam, 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 bam. They collect it, and we have, let's say, monsters. We have DePIN, RVA, AI, blah, 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 blah. The problem is obvious, but at the same time, if we just look back to the, some fundamentals in the economy theory, we'll see the curve of innovation. And as soon as we are in the beginning of this curve of innovations, we'll see some speculations. We'll see some guys who are trying to focus not on fundamentals, who are trying to just focus on marketing, who are trying to engage more and more users, and they actually don't have a good product behind them. Is it good or bad? Obviously, it's bad. But can we fight that? Can we solve that? I'm not sure. Because it's definitely not about Web3 only. It's about the, the state of innovation itself. It happens in all industries. So what we see right now in the DePIN sector, we do see a lot of sustainable projects, and the thing is, as soon as actually you build something, for example, if you want to be successful, you need to start cooking before the hype. You need to have an MVP, you need to have a product to be super successful. Right now we see a big interest to DePIN from the market, but these, let's say, outliers, which I mentioned during this presentation, they have started their building 2, 3, 4 years ago. They are not completely newcomers. They have already invested a lot of time, a lot of funds, a lot of efforts into this field. So I would say, and I would answer your question in this way, products who are actually driving this sector right now, they are doing a really awesome job. And they are not about using Web3 just to hype, just to pump the token, just to engage users. They literally have a lot of tech behind them. And they literally have a lot of nice use cases, and they have proven use cases. They work even with big corporations. But of course, as soon as we have something hyped, we'll see even more products which are actually pretend to be products. And what they're going to do, they're going just to hype. So on a retail investor perspective, even institutional investor perspective, you need to be very careful about it. And if we just compare, if we're going to try to compare this kind of groups, I would say for now we have literally and obviously less real projects, but the value in terms of market capitalization and the value they actually bring in the industry is much higher than a huge number of products they are going just to enter grab this hashtag and pretend to be a right builder. Did I answer?
Yeah. Thanks for your answer. Just a follow-up question. So, as an enterprise investor, what kind of advice would you give to people entering the DePIN space, and what to look after and what not to look out for?
Very unfortunately, I cannot provide just one advice. I need to provide several, because we have several groups. Yeah, we have builders, we have investors, we have actual institutional investors, retail investors, we have community. So there are different aspects. Okay, so for the founder perspective, I would suggest to focus mostly on real cases and on real products. Because already right now, we see a lot of outliers in the PIN sector. If you are going just to hype, if it's your strategy, probably the PIN is not the right place for you. Maybe you need to find something else. Because it's already quite, complicated to compete with well-known and well-established brands. So focus on real needs. This is the first point. The second point is you need to be really careful as a founder, and you should understand that the case you are working on right now, it will not be solved by big well just in 1 month. Like for now in AI, there are so many startups around, but OpenAI is going to issue a new product upgrade, and they literally kill a lot of startups, a lot of cool ideas, even well-funded. So, first of all, check in what kind of competitor field and what kind of competitor landscape you are working on. Regarding investor, I will not provide any advices, because this is our know-how. I don't want to help our competitors to earn money. Just follow our strategy and our Twitter, of course. And regarding the community, what I would suggest, I do believe actually there is a huge potential to be part in a real big story. And there is a huge potential to be an early adopter in a big story. As soon as you are an early adopter in a big story, you have a really big advantages from different angles. You can study more, you can have economical benefits from different protocols, whatever. You can start your place as a team member of any protocol. So my suggestion is to follow some well-known projects and to check in what kind of stage did they fundraise. In my opinion, it's quite important. So if we have just 2 more minutes, I'll explain briefly.
We do, yeah. You have 5 minutes.
Perfect. So I'll even provide more details. The thing is, a lot of startups, especially in a Web3 industry, what they are going to do, they are trying to fundraise as much as they can in a pre-seed stage. In my opinion, it's the worst strategy you can have. It's kind of, one of the biggest risks you as a founder can get. As soon as you fundraise as much as you can from day one. For me, it's quite important to follow startups, projects, which are going to fundraise in a very ecological way. They really need this amount of funds. And trust me, even for very complicated products, you don't have a huge burn rate. You don't need crazy investments. For 90% of ideas, it's quite cheap to build MVP. So as soon as you fundraise in a very ecological way, you have an idea, you need to build proof of concept, you fundraise directly to that. You don't need to fundraise in day one for next 10 years. But as soon as you have a proof of concept, you can move forward. You can fundraise more. So my suggestion is, very fortunately, we have a lot of different instruments in our industry, so everything is quite transparent. You can easily find and easily check exact valuation, exactly amount of fundraise, and the stage of the product they fundraised that days. And as soon as you can do it, you need to follow this kind of ecological ideas. That's it.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question, if anyone has any. All right, give it up for Alex. Thank you for your insightful
Thank you,
answers.
guys.